Hey, what's up you guys? My name's Hannah and I'm the director of Collide, Lyra and the Lightkeeper, August and the Rain Boots, Diner Girl, The Last Blue Cup, The Art of Being Loved, The Plan, and Our Last Days. Whew, okay, I'm surprised I remembered all those. A couple of them were out of order, but that's okay. Anyways, so today I have pretty much the Q&A video of Q&A videos. I felt like it was only fair that you guys have shared so much with me that I share a little bit with you. And so essentially I have 4 years of questions, comments, DMs that I'm going to respond to, react to, and answer. I know that this is a really crazy time for many people. I know a lot of people have different situations, and during the quarantine for a lot of people I know that it's extremely stressful. I just thought of any time that I'm stuck at home and that you guys are stuck at home that I can make a really long video. If you're bored, you can watch. So essentially today I have separated the questions into each video, so each film has a different cup of questions. In the description below I will leave little timestamps if maybe you are only particularly interested in learning more about one specific film, or if you want to watch all of them, that's completely fine. But today I have 1, 2, 3, so I have 5 cups of questions, 6 cups of questions, again one for each film, and then I also have an extra cup for just general questions that didn't really feel like they fit into one specific one. So essentially each cup just has a bunch of comments from the videos that I just wrote down verbatim, and I'm going to react to them or answer them or tell some stories about them so that you guys kind of get more of a behind the scenes look at each one of the films. So without further ado, let's get started on these. So the first one we have is Collide, so let's see what you guys have to say. I want to kiss my crush too, but I'm scared. A lot of these questions, some of them have to do with the stories that you guys have shared with me, questions you might have about your personal lives that I can maybe give advice to, or just like film specific questions. So this one is obviously maybe a more personal one. This is hard. First of all, the kiss that they share in the film, Ever and Cecilia, is scripted and consensual between both actresses. So I would say if you want to kiss your crush, make sure it's okay with them first. Don't just pull like a Ever and just kiss your crush out of the blue, because maybe your crush doesn't want that. I hope they do for your sake, but consent is important. Make sure your crush is okay with it, and then I'd say go for it. The kiss scene was so cute. I put this in here because I had a story to tell. So the very last scene, well, essentially we filmed that kiss scene 5 different locations, 5 different days, probably 40 takes of that kiss, and on the very last day I just felt like it wasn't clicking, because in the script they have a very slow scene that leads up to the kiss where Ever says, you know, it was really nice doing this project, but there's still one more thing I'm afraid of doing, and then she kisses Cecilia. But in each of the 5 different locations, the many takes, I just felt like something was missing. It wasn't the impact moment I had seen in my head, so on the very last day I said, you know what, you guys, just fight. And they improv'd a lot of that. The dialogue was guided, but really that kiss scene is all them. The scripted part was the pullback and the kiss, and I felt like the fight just gave it a little more of an edge or a passion. So thank you for saying the kiss scene was cute. It took a lot of work and time to get it that way, but I'm so glad it turned out and everyone liked it a lot. The rolling desks. So this is not a question, however, it is a comment about the desks. Anyone that goes to Hollins can probably attest to the fact that they're really not that interesting. So I suppose they're kind of fun, but really when you're sitting in lecture you're not like rolling around or anything, you're paying attention to the professor. So they're okay, but I feel like they look a lot cooler than they really are. They're really not that big of a deal. This should be a full-length movie. This comment is so sweet, and a lot of you said that, and I'm so grateful for that. So as some of you know, I'm working on a full-length movie called The Art of Being Loved, which comes out in May, and it's really fun because a lot of the elements in the full-length movie pull from a lot of the different films. So you'll see things like conquering your fears, which took a lot of inspiration from Collide, and doing the thing that you're afraid of and just making the move. It's not Collide, but a lot of aspects might be familiar, including Kate. I wish I had someone like this with me. I think this comment is really interesting, and a comment I get frequently on the films saying that they want this story. I think that everybody deserves someone that will make a grand gesture and will conquer their fears to be with you. But I'd say not all aspects of Ever are good, and she's supposed to be young, so she has a lot of growing up to do, so things like her aggression. I think they both have things that they need to work through. So yes, I say to some extent, I hope that for you, but on the same time, we're all a work in progress. Are they together in real life? No. Jillian and Kate are not together in real life. They both have their own amazing girlfriends who I love dearly, and I'm happy for both of them, but no, they are not, and they were never together. So I need a grade for the project. How did the friends react to their relationship? So I'm just gonna say this as the writer of the story, how I think about these things, how I would answer these questions. I'd say they probably did fairly well, considering they did what was asked of them. They created a collaborative leadership project. So as far as how they would react to their relationship, I would hope that healthy friendships would be supportive of a loving relationship. However, I'm not really sure. They might be apprehensive, they might be mean, but if they are, then I know that Ever would have chosen different friends. The girl with the blue hair is an amazing actress. You are so right. They're both amazing actresses. When I first came to college, because I made Collide in my very first semester of my freshman year, Kate was in my English class, my creative writing class, and one day I messaged her on Facebook and I said, "Hello, Kate. I am in a video production class and I really need actresses, and when I wrote Collide, I thought of you. Do you want to come maybe talk about it?" We met and we became friends, and she was in my film, and now we are best friends to this day, 4 years later, and she's gonna be in my feature. So it's all history after that. So these are questions about Lyra and the Lightkeeper. I'm really proud of it, so I'm excited to talk about it more because I don't really get to talk about this one that much. I want to write a book about this. 3 people commented this and said they wanted to write stuff about it. Please do. I love the story. I would love to see more about it with better writing than from what I did. So please, I'll go ahead. I would love to read it. I need a sequel so Avalon can come back. There would not be a sequel. If there would be a sequel, I don't know. I've thought a lot about this. I think maybe eventually. I think Lyra has a lot of also growing to do before she can be with somebody else, and I think Avalon filled a space in her heart that she didn't realize she had, and then when Avalon left, she was able to confront feelings that maybe she had neglected. I would say Avalon does come back, but much later in her life, so that they can be together, because I love happy endings and I love love, and I want to believe that their souls are tied together and that they would eventually end up together. I really need more gay content here. I think this is a reason that the film didn't do as well. They don't kiss and there's no really a lot of romance. The reason that I made the film the way that it is because I wanted to portray an aspect of a romantic friendship, because I feel like romantic friendships aren't really talked about too much, but I've had a lot of them, and it's kind of this space where you're maybe more physically affectionate with a friend, and maybe there are some feelings there, but they're either feelings you can't talk about or feelings you don't want to talk about. So that's kind of why I was exploring that. Also, Avalon, even though it's not talked about, I imagined them as a non-binary character, so that's another thing. Everyone needs a Lightkeeper. This was really cool because when someone commented that, when I was going through the comments to prepare for this video, I started seeing themes in a lot of the short films that I've taken to the full-length movie that I'm working on. So the idea of a Lightkeeper is that they essentially take someone whose light is flickering or dim and then make them happy again, so make them find the things that make them happy. And something I didn't want is for it to seem that all Lyra needed was somebody else to love her. I just thought that I really wanted Avalon to kind of take the role of showing her that other things can make her happy. So that was kind of the inspiration of having a Lightkeeper. So in the full-length movie, kind of translates to the fact that the main character, Olivia, believes that everyone has a lighthouse, which is different in a lot of aspects, but it's still kind of this rescuer in a way. It's like that one person that no matter what can make you feel okay. And I think and that's the kind of the relatable or shared aspects. So why don't they end up together? I kind of talked about this already. Sometimes people don't end up together, and it can actually be better for the individuals than them staying together. So I think this was definitely the case with Lyra and Avalon. They learned a lot from their relationship with each other, their friendship, and it taught them a lot and had a lot of character growth for both of them. So that's why Lyra says goodbye to the part of her mother at the end, or her childhood. That's why they don't end up together. I wouldn't change it. I think it's really important, and I think that sometimes our relationships with other people teach us more about ourselves. This is the last question in the Lyra and the Lightkeeper cup. So, does anyone know the story she was reading? In Lyra and the Lightkeeper, there's a scene where Avalon is on the bed and she's reading from a book about this ethereal girl who sneaks out every night to dance in the starlight, and it's a story I actually wrote. I love space, and I love romanticizing space and this mythical element. I don't know, so I combined the two to make it seem like a pretty story. I also love stars, so that's why. It's not a full story, but I have gotten a couple of people that have asked for me to release it somewhere, so I don't know. Maybe, we'll see. So, here we go. These boots have seen better days. They haven't aged well, but now we're gonna move on to August and the Rain boots. Side note, I'm gonna keep these boots for my future child, so when I get married to my wife and we have a girl or a boy, rest assured they will wear these boots. Hopefully they will last until then, but we'll see. Okay, I just thought you should know that. Soundtrack. There are a lot of questions about the soundtrack. For August and the Rain boots, it was comprised of covers by Leah Beeland, and the actual covers, they're not anywhere. We've talked about releasing them somewhere, but we've just never got around to it because it takes a lot to do that, a lot of time. But she has a YouTube channel, and she's recently in the past year released her own original music on Spotify, so I'll link those things in the description below. They should have worn rain boots to prom, I guess. I just wanted to switch it up a little bit because I wanted the rain boots to stay by the door, so that's why they didn't wear them to prom. I suppose they could have, but they didn't. You can. Is Edgar okay? The funniest part of the comment section in general for all the films is the little details that people become fixated on. And it's so cute and so funny that so many of you were like, Edgar is mine. I love Edgar. Edgar is the plant in the beginning that August crouches down and says, things will get better, just wait and see. Edgar lives with the uncle of my best friend. I don't know the status of Edgar if he's still alive, but I will check on that for you. Rain boots in the bath. So many people were like, why is she wearing rain boots in the bath? I don't know. I wanted her character to be quirky, and if I picked the detail of the rain boots, I wanted to put it in every single scene. That's why she wears rain boots in the bath. That was the first shot of the film, so I wanted you to kind of already have an idea of how her character was going to be off the bat. So that is why I chose to have her wear rain boots in the bath. Production quality. So a lot of the comments are also about maybe that the sound isn't great, or some of the video quality or the editing isn't perfect. And that's because throughout my films, I would like to say that each one I've had a substantial amount of growth. I've learned a lot of different things. August and the Rain boots, I learned so much and so many new things because when I make films, a lot of times it's just me. So I write all my films, I direct all of them, I edit all of them by myself. The majority of the films, I've done the lighting by myself, done the sound by myself, so a lot of times in my earlier work, if you came on set with me, it was like me with my little headphones, holding the camera, but also like holding the mic with one arm and trying to do all that stuff. So that's why some of the production quality isn't always amazing, but that's okay with me, and I have learned so much as each film has progressed, and they're all at different times in my life in college. So I made one each semester, and this was my sophomore year first semester. That's why the production quality is amazing, but I've learned a lot from it, and I am okay with that. I tried to make the cups like kind of make sense, correspond with the films. So this one I was like, you would find this in a diner maybe, but maybe diners don't serve beer mug. I don't know. Okay. They're in the last blue cup. So yes, Those of you who know, Parker and Emily make their return in the last blue cup. But their story does not end there. They also make an appearance in the plan, and they will make their final appearance in The Art of Being Loved. And it was my first time ever making a recurring kind of group of characters. However, it wasn't my first time ever having a recurring character, because Kate also has an extra role in Diner Girl as Cecilia. As you can see her coming in as a waitress, she kneels down next to this small child, which is supposed to be her daughter that she's visiting. I'd pick Emily over anyone. I'm trying to think what I want to say about this. Not all of these stories are supposed to have perfect characters. Parker has a lot of growing up to do. Parker feels very entitled. She can be a little selfish, and she's not the greatest friend, honestly. I wanted people to sympathize with Emily because she is going through a lot, and I think Parker should have picked up on more things. Prioritizing your friends while you're in relationships with other people is really important. It's another one where when people say, oh, I want a relationship like theirs, I get a little weird feeling. Of course, everyone wants that grand gesture again at the end when she kisses her. You should pick Emily because Parker, she's got some work to do. I demand a Diner Girl t-shirt. You know, it's funny that you say this because we had someone design a t-shirt, and I've had a couple sponsors reach out to me about doing merch. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to do a channel merch kind of thing, because I know a lot of you have favorite films or ones that you feel most strongly about. So if I did merch, it would probably be for specific films. So you would have a Collide shirt. I'd probably just do shirts or like crew necks to start off with. But if that is something that you guys want, please let me know and we can keep working through that. But I just didn't know how you guys really felt about that, so that's why I haven't done it so far. Where is this diner? It is in Roanoke, Virginia, and it's called the Pancake House. And if you go there, take pictures, and I will post them. I have had a couple of people tell me they've been there because of the film, which I think is so cool. If you go to Roanoke, you would be able to see every single kind of location that I've ever filmed all of my short films in. So I've had a couple people tell me that they've been able to find a few places, which I think is so cool. So if you go there, tell me and I'll be so happy. But also the owners are so sweet and kind, and their booth, we had to set it up for the film, so you can't really go to their corner booth, but you can go to the very far back. If you walk in, it's the very last one on the left. The production quality isn't the best. Again, as I kind of talked about it in August and the Rain Boots, I've learned a lot since then. So yeah, you're right. It's not the best, but that's okay, because that just means there's room for improvement. Thanks for liking it anyways. Now we're going to move on to the last blue cup. We broke this cup for the film. My ex at the time, she took so much time and she super glued it all together, so shout out. I just need to go to Target and I'll find a girlfriend. You could find your girlfriend at Target. It's funny because originally the film was set in IKEA and not Target. However, there is no IKEA in Roanoke, Virginia, and I did not want to drive 2 hours to find the nearest IKEA, so we just filmed in Target. It wasn't like a specific lesbians go to Target kind of thing. You can find your girlfriend anywhere. It doesn't have to be in Target. Yeah. You guys are funny. That was an interesting kiss. So the story behind the kiss is we had to rehearse it so many times because I wanted it to be so awkward. I didn't want it to be this like they both knew, because first kisses are not always perfect or glamorous or the smoothest things ever. Belle and Jesse come from completely different perspectives of relationships, and relationships are really scary for both of them. So the decision to kiss Ophelia was probably one that Jesse was really afraid of, because in her mind she'd already figured it out. She dates someone, they eventually will break up, so what's the point? And for her, that mentality probably drove her away from really having anything with anyone. So her decision to kiss Ophelia was probably really scary. She's probably so nervous. So I'm glad the first kiss was so awkward. The cup is not blue. As I kind of showed you earlier, this is one of the cups. And essentially the story behind this cup and why I chose the color of this cup is because Jesse's color palette is very dark. It consists of blacks and dark blues. So for Jessie to go up and want this cup, it needed to be the most visually contrasting to her character, because in the real world, Jessie would not be caught dead buying this cup. So she didn't really want it. She liked the girl, which is clear, but I wanted it to be the beginning of her character development, of Ophelia kind of bringing this light into her life, because Ophelia's palette is light blues, yellows. And also the thing about these cups is because they're so cheaply made, they're like maybe $1 at Target. They lose their color saturation after a while, after you wash them or after they sit out in the sun, for example. And this cup was not, like the cups that are in the film, we didn't use the ones that were at Target. We had actually bought them months prior. So yeah, that's why I didn't choose a darker blue. It's not a perfect blue, but I would say that I don't know what else I would have called it, you know? I wouldn't have called it, it's not green. But I wouldn't call it like that last bluish greenish aquamarine cup. I don't know. Moving on. I love how she's reading a book called Stay. So when she's in the library during the montage sequence before the fight scene, they're both reading, and Fel has a book called Stay. And a lot of the props in that film were specifically picked out to be Easter eggs, so that the film was intended to be watched more than once, so that you could pause it and read things. Also, definitely pause during the calendar sequences, because you can see the progression of the notes, and each note is specific, as well as the photography on the very left side also changes. The photography is taken by my really good friend Caty Sack, who lives in Kansas City, and I'm going to link her art in the description below because she's an incredible photographer. So, the calendar goes from December 2019 to January 2019. You are right, it does. It was a mistake, it was an error. We filmed that calendar sequence 2-3 hours before the actual film was due at 5 o'clock in the morning. Shout out to Maddie's Early, who's the hand in the calendar parts. It wasn't the actress who played Jessie, because we ran out of time and it was also filmed a month later. People make mistakes. I don't know, it's funny to me now, but no, it wasn't intentional, and that's just what happened. So, okay, this is a long one. Who else thinks that the ending was related to the fact that Ophelia didn't like to finish movies so she can make up the ending? Yeah, I mean, I think this is a really good theory. Really, the reason that they fight and ultimately almost break up for good is because they're both so scared. It's so easy when you have never been in a relationship like Jessie has, or never had a relationship like Ophelia has, where you anticipate that that relationships are just going to end. So what is the point of getting in them? And I think that is a common fear that a lot of people have, like, why get into relationships if they end? But I think it was important for Ophelia and Jessie to understand that you can't live your life scared of what might or might not happen. The truth is that, sure, most relationships do end, but there's always that possibility that they might not. And you'll never know unless you try. And that optimism is, I think, maybe something they both lack in different regards. So, not exactly because she couldn't make up the ending that she decided to kind of push away from Jessie. Again, for Jessie, she doesn't see the point. Ophelia doesn't particularly see the point, but I think it's both of them. For both of them, it's really important. You might as well just try, because you'll never know. Because people get married all the time. Like, they might have gotten into their relationship thinking, you know, it might end, but it doesn't always. So I think that was important for both of them to understand, and that's why I chose to make it that way. Why nickname her Fel? So I love this question because I get to talk about it, and nobody really knows about this. I liked the idea that Ophelia was her name, but Fel was only what she liked to be called by people who she lets in. So when they meet for the second time, she says, "My name is Ophelia, but you can call me Fel." So it's almost like a personalization thing, like she feels that she wants Jessie to call her that, which is a big step for her, and also why when she leaves this cup on the doorstep that it says Ophelia and not Fel, because they're at a distance and she's lost that closeness once they break up, basically. Moving on to the plan. I ran out of cups, so I had This one doesn't really have anything to do with the plan, but I don't know. Does she say yes? So I guess this is talking about the proposal. In the original script, there's another ending. There's a vlog entry, and essentially January makes a final vlog where she says the plan worked and she shows the ring. Anyways, she does say yes, and if you look at the credits, there's a shot from that vlog ending. The January debate. Should she have moved on, or is her plan cute? A lot of you have feelings about January and her decision to make this plan for Sarah, and I think January really needed that space because she had a lot of learning about herself to do. She traveled a lot, came back, and realized that Sarah is the person she wants to be with. And unfortunately, sometimes I think it happens that way when maybe you weren't right for each other then, like right person, wrong time, which is how I feel with January and Sarah. I feel like it was always them the whole time. They're just meant to be together. And my personal input to that debate that goes on in the comments is that I don't think it's stalkerish that she made that plan. We all need someone that will go to the ends of the earth for us. And January is that for Sarah. And I don't think she was when they first were dating. Is Sarah really tall, or is January really short? Both. Anna Holland, who plays January, is on the shorter side. I don't know how tall she is. I don't have those specifications. Natalie, who plays Sarah, is also very, very tall. That's why I put her on the steps for the kiss, because I wanted them to be a little more even. Their breakup ruined my image of January. That makes sense. I mean, I can understand how January might not be redeemable for some people after their breakup because January is cold, and I wanted her to have so much contrast between past and present January, where you'd watch the flashback and you'd say, that doesn't even seem like her at all. I'm glad that they broke up because I think that Sarah ultimately needed to know what she deserves and what she didn't, which is why she's so cold to January when they meet again. She's definitely not going to let January treat her the same way. The Diner Girls are getting married. They are getting married. They're getting married in the future, which you'll see in May. We also did a little wedding video, which I might release on the channel soon. So if you guys want to see that, let me know and I'll release it. The proposal scenes. Oh, this is one of those things where I had a story about it. So the diner extras, this is so funny. So in the breakup scene, so the first time they're in that restaurant, so the first extra you see who's clapping during their proposal scene of the Diner Girls, that's Kate from KYILEE. After it moves from Kate, you see the group of girls at the table clapping, and it's such a quick thing, but one of them, the first one with her hair up, that's Jules. She's a really good friend of mine. And then you see Brianna, who was an extra, she goes to my school. And then the other one with the curly hair, that's Abby, and she's my girlfriend now, which is really funny because I have to admit, when we first started talking, she said, I was in your film. And I said, oh, okay. And I didn't remember. So Abby, I'm so sorry if you're watching this. I did not remember when you told me that you were in my film. I could not remember which one you were talking about. We have one final cup, which is just general questions. This also pertains to our last days in the future, so more questions about that, and then just more questions that you guys had about me. Where can we watch the feature? That's a great question. At first I thought I was going to put it on YouTube. However, I'm worried that the quality won't be as good because it's a full-length movie and the quality is really important to me. But I want it to be in the most accessible platform because I made the feature for you guys. I made it so that the people that need to see it can see it. I don't think anyone watches Below Her Mouth and goes, oh my god, crazy, I've had that same experience. And if you have, then great. But I don't feel like there are enough lesbian films that are family safe, if that makes sense. So I want it to be the most accessible as possible. So if I do make it rentable, it'll be rentable for like 99 cents. So it won't be expensive. Because I want you guys to watch it. Next one. Do you still have any props from the films? Me? Props from the films? No. Why would you ask that? Yes. I'm really sentimental. I'm a Pisces, which explains a lot. I do. I keep them all because the films hold such a special place in my heart. They are like parts of me because they're creative pieces that I made throughout my last 4 years, and I was like a different person each one that I was making. So are the couples together in real life? Talked about this with Collide. I'm gonna say this, including the feature, there are 2 couples that are on screen that are together in real life, but I'm not gonna tell you which ones. So have fun with that. Movies and directors that inspire you. I love Sofia Coppola. Love her. I love Warmish, which is Braxy Jacobson, which is available on YouTube. Definitely watch it. Bubblegum, Ella Fields. She's incredible, incredible young director. Crazy on-set experience. We were visited by the cops one time on set. We didn't do anything bad. It was just the location we were at. Advice for young filmmakers. Don't give up and just go out there and make films. You can make films on your phone. You don't need a fancy camera, but don't not make films because you don't think that you can. A lot of amazing films were made on iPhones. So go out there, get experience, make mistakes, learn from them, do what you want to do, young or old. Best and worst parts of being a director. The best parts are the times that I spend with my cast. Probably the first and last days of production are the most amazing and bittersweet because you can see how far you've come, I think. A really nice part is getting to meet you guys and hearing your stories and to get messages from you guys about the positive impacts the films have had on you is always so amazing for me to see. Yeah, there are so many best parts. The worst parts, probably the fact that I am a double major in college. I'm a senior now, but it was really hard sometimes juggling production, which honestly, like, special shout out to my cast of the feature. It's so difficult to spend 5 days of the week at college at full-time students and then go on the weekends, give up your Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays for filming. Saturdays and Sundays, like 10 to 15 hours of production each day. So I'm so grateful we got to share that together, but I know that that was stressful for a lot of them. What was the idea behind The Art of Being Loved? I think when I started working on the film, I said, what is the craziest thing ever I could do for my senior thesis? Because there's never been a feature-length film at Hollins ever, and when I say feature, I mean a film that's between 90 and 120 minutes. Normal thesis level work for seniors, it's between 10 and 25 minutes, 25 minutes being the max. I feel like coming after the plan being 20 minutes long, I feel like doing a 25-minute film wouldn't have challenged me as much. So that's why I decided to do a feature-length film. The actual idea behind it was just the fact that I really wanted to make a film about 4 powerful lesbian best friends in high school that are popular and not outcasts. That was kind of the concept and things that they go through that maybe people don't talk about enough. Being in love with your best friend, toxic relationships, abusive relationships, that transition period between high school and college, moving away from your friends, maybe not wanting to go to college, things like that. Favorite cast story? I have so many, that's so hard. I really liked in Collide getting to do all the fears. All of those things were real things we did. We went on a really tall roof for the height one. We went hiking for the hiking one. They ate crickets for the cricket one. And those are just really special memories we got to do together. Graffiti, same thing. We actually did that. So also The Art of Being Loved production. We had a lot of really sentimental moments during that as well. There's one of the last shoots, the characters on screen, they watch a slideshow of them growing up together, but I just needed their reactions. So what I did was I made a slideshow of the production that's like super sentimental and super sappy, and we all got to watch it together and we all cried. Well, most of us cried. And also, like, their girlfriends were there, so, or, like, the significant others of the leads, like, they also have to give a lot up, too, like, seeing their girlfriends less than they might normally for an entire semester, so it was special to look back on that with everyone there, too. How did you get to work with MAIHUA, and what is it like? This is kind of a really long story. My best friend Erin was sitting on my bed, and she said, look at this TikTok friend group. She showed me a TikTok of McKenna, Audrey, KYILEE, and NIKKI making this, I don't know, they're just making a TikTok. she showed it to me. I reached out to NIKKI and I said, hello, can I interview you? I'm making a film about lesbian best friends. You guys are lesbian best friends and I want to know what it's like to be in a tight-knit lesbian friend group and be popular, because that's my film. And so I got to interview SAYGE, KYILEE, MAIHUA, NIKKI, McKenna, PAIGE. Those are the ones that I got to interview on Skype, which was so cool. All of them are so kind and so funny and silly and goofy, and I'm really glad that I got to do that. So that was really cool, and that's how I met MAIHUA. And I texted her one day and I said, hello, please be in my movie, and she said, okay. And so now she's in the feature and she stars in Our Last Days. She is so sweet. Her and Gona are like so funny and silly, and Lily too, but MAIHUA is so amazing to work with. Her manager NIKKI, all three of them, incredibly intelligent, really amazing, and they're all going places, so I'm really grateful that I got to work with her. So why isn't MAIHUA in the trailer? So the trailer was due as my independent study in December, where it was shown, and then we didn't film MAIHUA's scene until January. So that's why she wasn't in the trailer. She does only have a cameo scene, which is still really cool. I'm really happy about it. But it's just one scene in the feature. If you want to see her as a lead, you can check her out in Our Last Days, which also comes out in May. Advice for getting a girlfriend. I put this in here because I think it was commented once, at least once, on each of the films, and I thought I would put it in the general questions instead of the more specific cups. I don't know, I feel like I'm the worst person to ask. It was funny because I wrote this question down and I asked my girlfriend, I said, hello, how did I woo you? I have to know for a YouTube video. She was like, I don't know, man, but be yourself, I guess. Be kind. Pick someone who loves all the silly parts of you. Don't be somebody else. Don't try to be cool, or I don't know, don't try to play hard to get. Just find someone who loves all your flaws and your silly things. And that's my advice for getting a girlfriend. Release dates. So for release dates, you can check out our 2 Instagrams for The Art of Being Loved and Our Last Days, which I'll link in the description below, and are all run by my assistant director, Madison Knight. So definitely check those out. All of the release dates and information will be in there. Well, that is the last question of all of the cups. That was a lot of questions that you guys had. It was really cool to be able to answer all of them. If you have any questions, or if I didn't get to your question, feel free to DM me. I always try to answer my DMs or your comments. If you comment, I try to answer them as best as I can. That's all I had. I'll link all of the cast's Instagrams in the description below. Check them out. I hope that you stay safe. Thanks for making it through this whole video. And yeah, alright. Well, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!